What's up YouTube? DJ Q back at it again with another video from the lab. Today's video is going to be a little controversial. I'm going to tell you guys why in 2018 you should not buy a pair of Technics 1200 turntables.
Hold up. Say what?
Especially some older ones, some MK2s especially. I got some notes here on my phone just so you know I'm not just rambling around off the beaten path. But talking to the homeboy, Ahmad, another local DJ from St. Louis, shout out to Ahmad the Prophet. He's a younger guy. He was asking me about a pair of turntables he wanted to purchase, and he was saying somebody had a pair of 12s for sale, and he asked me, should I get those or should I get some new ones? My advice to him was to get a brand new pair of turntables that are not Technics 1200s. Although, and I'm going to get to this later, there are new Technics 1200s out on the market, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's talk about Technics 1200s, MK2s, M3Ds, MK5s. Are the standard techniques that every DJ on the planet knows about, has used for years and years and years. So the consensus is Technics are built like tanks. Absolutely correct. Absolutely built like tanks. They quote unquote last forever. The reason why I say quote unquote, because they don't last forever. They're just like any other, piece of electronic. At some point in time, they will start to fail. So let's just go over a couple of facts about Technics 1200. So like I said, I got some notes here on my phone. Technics SL 1200 MK2s were released in 1978. 1978 is 2018, so let's just think about that. 88, 10 years, 98, 20 years, 2008, 30 years, it's 2018. Those turntables are 40 years old. 40 years old. 40 years old. 40 years old. As you can see behind me, I have a pair of Technics 1200s MK2 sitting right here behind me. They work awesome because I rebuilt them. But yeah, we're talking about 40-year-old turntables, right? So if you're out here on eBay and you pick up a pair of Technics 1200 MK2s, they could possibly be, again, 40 years old. All right, on to the next one. M3Ds were released in 1997. That's another standard Technics 1200 that a lot of people know of. They have your quartz lock button right on the top. 1997. 2007, 2017, 21 years. A lot of you young DJs are 22, 23, 24 years old. So you're only 3 years old when those turntables drop. So on to the next one, our MK5s came out in 2002. You might be saying, oh, that's not that old, that's not that bad. And you're right, they're not. But at the same time, you have to think about what are all my brand new options that are being built today. And that's what my point is going to be about. And why you shouldn't buy a pair of used Technics, because you have a slew of options of brand new, out of the box, straight out of the factory turntables that you can buy today, right now, that aren't 40 years old. 40 years old. And some of you guys got parents that are that age or whatever, something like that, whatever. So let's dive a little deeper into the Technics. So some of the issues that you're gonna find with 40-year-old turntables, let's think about this. Let's just roll back one time. Think about your car. You're not gonna go out and buy a 40-year-old car, right? Cars that are built in the 70s were built like tanks, of course, but they also had carburetors on them. The technology was old. Yeah, you could run into a wall with them and they'd still drive, but is that what you want to drive right now? No, you're going to go out and buy a brand new Chevy Cruze or something like that, right? You know what I'm saying? For the same price, you can get a lot more miles out of it. It's going to perform better. What you're going to find wrong with Technics, old Technics 1200s, are the number one most notorious issue are going to be bad RCAs. RCAs go bad in them all the time. It's always been a gripe for Technics 1200 owners to have plug and play RCAs. Well, adding on to the fact that RCAs go bad notoriously in old 1200s is the replacement of the RCA. And everybody has a buddy, a homeboy, an uncle, a brother, somebody that has a soldering iron that will go in, you'll crack your 1200s open, you know, and resolder you up some new RCAs. All good and dandy. But the problem with that is the fact that there's a little bitty board called the PCB board that those RCAs are soldered to inside your 1200s. So what happens is when you get all solder happy, you got your hot solder gun and you're, you know, swapping out, you know, you probably do a self grounding as well. You're going to destroy that little PCB board. And why that's important is the fact that there are 4 to 5 little tiny wires that are connected to that PCB board as well that are connected to your tone arm. So inside of the tube or the tone arm, you're gonna see 4 contacts that connect to the back of your needle head shell when you plug it up. So when you destroy those little bitty wires that are on that PCB board, then the contacts inside of your tone arm tube do not work anymore. So you see a lot of DJs, old school, used to take the needle out and lick the back of it, put it back in and try to get that contact back together. Well, you know, over time, if you've soldered in, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 sets of RCAs, you know, and every time you solder them in, you know, you're getting that PCB board hot, or you might slip up and unsolder, you know, a couple of those little wires that go to the tone arm contact. You destroyed that little board. All right. So, and you know, the overuse of these turntables, they've been around forever. They've changed hands, I don't know how many times till you got it, right? So you gotta think about a 40-year-old turntable. Again, you wouldn't buy a car that's had like, you know, 10, 12 owners, right? You don't know what they did. They smoked in the car. They drank in the car. You know, they did whatever in the car. That's the same thing that happens with these turntables. I don't know how many turntables, 1200s, I've cracked open, just took the platter off and took the little platter guard off. And there's so much dirt and grime and dust and just junk down in those turntables that are just gonna give you, you know, less than superior performance. So, you know, you have all these things that you're gonna run into. We haven't even touched on the prices. You're still gonna pay, you know, $250 to $300 a turntable for something. A turntable is 40 years old because it's a Technics 1200. But it's 2018. You know, we're not gonna buy a Buick anymore, like an old Buick. Not, you know what I'm saying? Not gonna buy an old Cutlass Supreme, right? We're gonna get that new. So what brings me to my next thing, we're gonna talk about some new turntable options that are out there on the market for you to buy that you won't experience the same issues that you will with old Technics 1200, 40-year-old, 20-year-old, even, you know, 15-year-old Technics 1200s, right? For a decent price. You may pay a little bit more, but you're getting new technology. You're getting a brand new pair of turntables. You know where they've been. They haven't exchanged hands like a million times. They haven't been like soldered and unsoldered and soldered and unsoldered and soldered and unsoldered, like back and forth, right? So you're getting brand new technology, right? So let's talk about new turntables. And some of these aren't necessarily, you know, brand new that just came out like this year, the past couple years. They've been out for a little while. I'm just gonna run down the list. Disclaimer too, like I'm not an expert. This is all my opinion, right? So, you know, you guys can still go out and buy Technics, do whatever you want to do. I'm just letting you know my experience. I've been DJing since 1998. And I've dealt with a few different pairs of turntables. I've seen tons of turntables come and go from friends over the years. I have some experience on maintaining them. That's another thing with Technics. You gotta know how to maintenance them correctly, you know, if you want them to run in top-notch shape. All right. So again, like I'm not an expert. It's just my opinion. You know how to do what I say. You do whatever you want to do. I'm just giving you some options and giving you some things to think about, you know, after talking to the homie, right? So again, let's talk about some new turntables that are on the market, or some options that you guys can buy that'll be brand new right out of the box. You know, go to your Guitar Center, Amazon, whatever you want to do. All right, first on my list are Pioneer's PLX 1000s. Great turntable, heavy, you know, brand new. Again, like why not? You know, a little bit pricey, but you're getting what you pay for. You know, brand new Pioneer has a slew of equipment that works great. All right, they also have a model down to the PLX 500s, which the PLX 500s I believe come in white, which are pretty cool too. So next one are the Denon Vl 12. Denon just came out with these, I think last year. Very dope. Have a light under the platter, so it looks real cool. Kind of like the modification that a lot of people did with Technics 1200s, where they put an LED light under the platter so it will glow. Really dope. Audio Technica makes a good pair of turntables, and I have had experience with these when I DJ'd on a cruise ship. Very dope turntables, man. Like, underrated. Not a lot of people, I think, know about these turntables, but they are out there. They work, man. They are the LP 120s and the LP 1240s. Roland actually has a new turntable, more of a budget turntable. It's the Roland TT99. You can grab those. Newmark just unveiled another turntable. The Newmark NTX 1000s are another option for you. Reloop, man, a lot of dope DJs use Reloop. Reloop RP 8000s and RP 4000s. The 8000s have the MIDI control buttons on the turntable, so you can put your hot cues, you can control your loops right there on the turntables. The Stanton ST 150s or the STR 150s. The ST comes with your standard S-curve tone arm. The STR comes with a straight tone arm. Mixars, another kind of new companies came out. Man, they got some dope mixers out. Dope controller that I'm waiting on to come out. But they also have the Mixars STA and LTA. The STA, I believe, is the straight tone arm, and the LTA is the standard S-curve tone arm. So going back to talking about Technics, Technics have come out with brand new Technics 1200 GRs. In 2016, the G series, super dope. Problem, they're like 4 Gs. They are a super expensive turntable, and I could be wrong about the price. You guys can check on the prices later. You guys can do research on everything I'm talking about later. I'm gonna link a lot of these products in my description. So you just look down in the description and you'll find links to everything. I'm gonna link it all up. I think a lot of DJs thought that, you know, Technics brought these turntables out for DJs, which is not true. They are audiophile turntables, which means they are for, you know, listeners. They're not for DJing. That's why they are so expensive. There are a lot of audiophile turntables out on the market made by all these different companies. Audio Technica makes a lot of audiophile turntables which are not meant to DJ with. So, you know, that's an option. I mean, I'm not to say that you couldn't use them for DJing. I mean, SL 1200s back in the day, MK2s weren't released for DJs. They were audiophile turntables. So, I mean, you very well could buy those SL 1210 GRs and DJ with them. I hope somebody does, because I want to see them. Like, I don't have the grip to buy those turntables, so unless, you know, one of the homies buys them or Technics calls me and says, hey, I want you to demo these turntables, I ain't never gonna see them. So it is what it is. Last but not least, man, one thing I want to talk about is what Rane just released in recent time is the Rane 12. So this is a MIDI turntable. Now, MIDI turntables aren't necessarily a new concept, but Rane has said that they figured it out. I don't think that anybody except for DJ Fat Fingers has played on them yet, but that's another option coming up soon. Hopefully they're gonna be in stores real soon. You know, you can go to your local Guitar Center or whatever and play on them and see what's all good with them. It's MIDI. There's no tone arm, there's no needle, it's just a box, but it's the size of a turntable, so you got a 12-inch record. That's why they're called the Rane 12. There's a 12-inch record that actually spins, which alleviates the problem that a lot of people have with controllers. They're like, oh man, nothing's spinning, I can't, whatever, you can still get down, but that's a whole nother video. So the Rain 12 is another option for you guys to look into for, you know, your DJing performances. And I think that that's one of the dopest, because you don't have any of the issues that a standard turntable, new or old, will have. Now, that's not to say that the Rain 12 won't have its own new kind of issues that we're all gonna have to just figure out, but we'll just have to see when the time comes. And once again, man, like, I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of some reasons why I think that in 2018 you should not buy a pair of Technics 1200s, especially some MK2s. We're talking 40-year-old turntables, yo. That's some old, those are old, super old. You can get your money's worth out of a lot of different new products that are out on the market that you can take advantage of. But yo, my name is DJ Q, man. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button down there. Subscribe to the channel. Again, I'm gonna link all these turntables that I talked about in the description down below. I'll let your boy, man, St. Louis, I'm out.